4 new games coming as full physical releases to the Nintendo Switch 2 that were announced the other day, and this is really exciting because we're getting more games fully on the cartridge, but there's a catch to this. So going into the games, first up we have The Binding of Isaac Repentance that is coming out fully physical on the Nintendo Switch 2, which is super awesome. Now this is releasing next year, and this is coming in at $70 physically. And this is the full expansion of Binding of Isaac Repentance, fully on the cartridge, all of that good stuff. I'm personally very excited for this one. This is probably the one that I would say that isn't already out that I'm most excited to hop into and play on the Nintendo Switch 2, because there's just so much content in The Binding of Isaac. There's so much to do. Very excited about this particular game. Next up we have Order Up. This is an older game. I believe it released way back on like PlayStation 3 in that time with like the move controls and everything like that. So this is coming as well as a full physical release, and this one's coming in at $50 physically. Moving on, we have Pastry Panic that is coming, and honestly I couldn't find any trailers or anything for this particular game, so I'll bring it up on the website for us to look at. So this game has these cute little bunnies, and it looks like a co-op kind of cooking bakery type deal, and honestly what it reminds me of is Overcooked. That's really what this game looks like more than anything, is Overcooked. This one has a bunch of different themes, as you can see. This one's like a spooky Halloween level. This one looks more like festive. I think the first one, yeah, Christmas themed. So a lot of different level themes here. And this one is also coming in at $50 physically. And finally, we have Hades 2. Now, if you didn't know, Hades 2 is actually already available on the eShop. You can already play this on the Nintendo Switch 2. However, it is getting a full physical release with the game on the cartridge that is coming out the same day as Kirby Air Riders on the 20th of November. So that is incredibly exciting. I've had that game on pre-order for a while because I want the full physical version. Again, $50 for Hades 2 fully physical. And that's where the catch of all this comes into play. So you might have noticed the price tag on all these games. Looking at The Binding of Isaac, coming in at $70. Looking at Order Up, that's $50. Pastry Panic, $50. Hades 2, $50. All of these games seem a hair expensive. Don't you think? Don't you think they're a bit more expensive than you were anticipating for something like The Binding of Isaac or even Hades 2? The reason for that is they're fully on the cartridge, and I think that's the big thing that people are forgetting, because, you know, the key card debate has been hot and heavy since the release of the Nintendo Switch 2. Everybody hates key cards. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants to use them, and some people have even stated that they would be willing to pay more for a full physical game on the cartridge. And if you're one of those people, it's time to put your money where your mouth is. These games are coming out fully physical, but they are being charged more than what you would typically have to pay for these games. Specifically, the two that I could find price points for, looking at The Binding of Isaac, this game comes in at $20 on the eShop for the Repentance expansion, plus Afterbirth coming in at $40 for $60 total, and these games are constantly on sale. You're able to pick up Binding of Isaac on sale all the time. So you can get this game a whole lot cheaper on the eShop currently than what you could buy it for physically. You're looking to spend, if you're buying this at full price, you're looking to spend at least $10 more than what you would if you were to buy this game entirely digitally on the eShop. The next one is Hades 2. This game, like I said, is already available on the eShop and has been since September, and this game comes in at $30 on the eShop. However, if you want that full physical version, you're going to spend $20 more to get that game physically on the cartridge. And that's the catch of all this, is you have to spend more money for these games when they are fully on the cartridge. It's just the nature of a lot of these more like tight budget indie games that you're seeing. So that's where I kind of want to get into the talking point of this video, is that are we willing to spend that kind of money for these full physical releases, or are we more interested in buying the game on the eShop and saving $1? Because I've seen people on the internet after these were announced already saying Binding of Isaac isn't worth $70. These games aren't worth the price point that they are. But the same people that are saying that are going and complaining about game keycard releases. So you can't have it both ways. You have to be willing to spend the extra money to get these games and be able to play them fully physically, or they're just not going to release them fully physically at all, or they're going to release them as a key card and save themselves money. So that's kind of the big debate. You know, a lot of people are complaining, looking specifically like Resident Evil just announced, you know, their big collection that you can buy that's available for pre-order right now, where you can get Resident Evil 9, Resident Evil 8, and Resident Evil 7 all in a big bundle, all physically, and they're all game key cards. But you're getting that for $90. You're getting 3 massive Resident Evil games for $90, and they're all key card releases. Is that a problem? No, I don't think so. I personally pre-ordered that. Why? Because that's a sweet deal. Essentially, you're paying for the new game of Resident Evil 9, which we don't know if that's going to be 60, 70, whatever. It's kind of, the price has been fluctuating from what I've been seeing online for that game. It's not confirmed 60 or 70 yet, but if you're getting it for $60, then now you're only getting the other 2 for $15 a piece. That's a steal. If you're getting it for $70, then those other 2 games go down to $10 a piece. That is a steal. If those games were on the cartridge, that would be probably a $120 bundle. That seems like a way better deal to me personally, to save that extra money and still have those games semi-physically, and I could trade them in later down the road if I so chose to, than having to pay $120 for full physical games on the cartridge, and I probably wouldn't recoup near as much. To me, it seems that, like, key cards, while you may not like them, save you money in the long run, and they are a good solution for companies that may otherwise just decide to not put games out physically at all. So going back to the Binding of Isaac, you know, that's the one I've really seen hammered home. Like, this game is not worth $70. I've seen it all over Twitter. I've seen it on other videos that are talking about this in the comments. It's not worth that price point. For me personally, I pre-ordered Binding of Isaac. I think that is awesome that it's getting a full physical release, and I've said in the past that I would be willing to then pony up whatever extra money in order to play games that would be key cards fully physically. I said I'd be willing to spend 10, 20 extra dollars in order to have the game fully physically, and I'm owning up to that. I said that, and I'm like, yeah, that makes total sense. I said that this game's getting full physical release. I'm going to support them deciding to give us a full physical release. They're doing exactly what I asked. They just upped the price a little bit. That makes perfect sense. Same goes for Hades 2. I could already be playing and enjoying Hades 2, but I'm going to spend $20 extra in order to get that game fully physically because they were so kind as to give me that option. Because I wanted a fully physical option for Hades 2, I'm going to support the devs that were willing to do that and spend that extra money on the cartridge. And yes, they are charging a bit more of a premium price, but I said I wanted a physical version. They gave me a physical version. I'm going to support that. So I guess that's really where the heart of this video comes from, is we are getting a ton of games physically on the Switch 2, which is what everybody wants. But are we willing to actually pay the price for those games to come physically? Looking at another game that's coming out a little bit later down the road, Final Fantasy VII Remake. They said if you pre-ordered that game early, you got that game for $40. It is a game keycard release. It's too big to even go on a full cartridge. But let's pretend that this game could go on a cartridge, right? Let's pretend that it's not a 90 gigabyte download and it would fit on a 64 gigabyte cartridge. Would you be willing to pay for a game that came out so long ago for a full price $60, $70 release just to have it on the cartridge? Or are you happier that this game's coming in at only $40 and you can get in and experience this at a better price? In my opinion, I pre-ordered the physical version of Final Fantasy VII for the keycard. This game doesn't fit on a cartridge anyways. I'm picking up the keycard version because it's a better deal. It's awesome that it's coming in at $40. But I've seen a lot of sentiment online that, you know what, oh, Square Enix, another keycard release. That game easily goes up to $60, $70 if they put it on the cartridge, if they could put it on the cartridge. I think that's what people fail to understand, is that the cartridges are more expensive than the key cards. So at this point, I feel like I'm kind of rambling. That's the big question. I want to know if people are actually interested in getting their hands on full physical games at a more premium cost. That's really where the heart of this lies, is yes, we're getting these physically. That's what everybody's been asking for. But are you willing to pony up that extra money in order to actually get these games? Because I don't feel like many people are, based on the sentiment that I'm seeing online. I feel like people would rather just complain than be happy that they're getting exactly what they asked for. I don't think they thought about the repercussions of asking for those things, because now they're complaining about it. So it's just a really interesting topic of conversation regarding the keycard situation. Personally, I initially was against the keycards. As time has gone on and I've seen more comments about people saying, I like the keycards, I'm able to trade them in, I only get games and then play them and then trade them back in to buy more games. The keycards work perfectly for them, and I've kind of turned around on the keycards. I don't necessarily love them. If I have the option to buy a fully physical game, I would rather buy a fully physical game, but I've kind of adopted the strategy that if a game doesn't fit on the cartridge, why do I care if it's a keycard or not? I don't. I'm just going to buy the game. Another one I'm fully expecting to be a game keycard and not be small enough to actually fit on a normal cartridge is Assassin's Creed Shadows. I expect that game to be around 70 to 80 gigabytes to download. So I pre-ordered the physical version of Assassin's Creed Shadows because I just assume that that game is going to be too big to go on a cartridge, and I would like to have the physical box. I would like to have the cartridge and be able to put it on my shelf and do things of that nature. If it doesn't fit on the cartridge, why do I care? So I've really kind of turned around on game key cards as the Switch 2 life cycle has gone on. I initially was very against them, then I kind of turned around and I picked up a handful here and there, like Madden specifically. It's a sports title, it comes out every year. I'd like to be able to trade that in. And now I'm just like, I'm gonna buy key cards. I don't care. So yeah, while I do still prefer full physical games, I'm not pressed if a game comes out as a keycard. I don't really care that much, I'll be honest with you. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. This is kind of an interesting video. I wanted to bring this up to really talk about this issue as a whole, because this is something I've just seen a ton of online. People are just kind of up in arms about the prices on some of these games, but for me personally, I've got 2 of them pre-ordered. I'm looking forward to them. So let me know your guys' thoughts. That's gonna do it. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe because it helps me out, helps the video out, and helps the channel out immensely. But until next time, peace.